Hello and welcome to a sort of special episode for the Premier Outlook. Today we're going to start a new series, I guess you could call it. We're going to be doing it on a load of Premier League clubs. It's called The Opinion, I guess, and today we're going to be doing it on Arsenal. We're just going to talk a bunch of things Arsenal about this season. Where do we think they will finish? What players will be good for them? Who will be their top three scorers? And all that. So first off, I'm going to ask you the simple sounding question. What can Arsenal do in the transfer window to win them the league title?
Well, we all know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say they need to sign a striker. I think Giroud is a good striker, like in terms of talent. But I don't think he fits in their system like at all. They need either somebody to pair up with him up top, or they need somebody to replace him. If they don't want to play two strikers. A player like I don't know Mahrez or even Costa. I know people don't like Costa, but Costa players similar to that.
Right.
They need
And
somebody like that. They need a goal scorer.
right, and they've been linked in the past week. Lacazette's been a big one. Higuain, I don't think it'll
Exactly.
happen, and Icardi. So it looks like
They're getting
out
linked
of
left and right. They might sign it, but
yeah,
the same thing happened last year, so you never know.
Arsenal fans have been asking for a world-class striker for so many years. Like I have an Arsenal fan, and he's a good friend of mine, and it's just painful to watch Giroud play up top week in week out. He can finish. He's good in the air, but he's just so slow that
Yeah, he's
he
bad
just
on the
doesn't
ball. Yeah,
fit. Like you can't have a slow striker like Giroud playing next to Alexis Sanchez and Walcott or Oxlade-Chamberlain. Like it just doesn't fit the system. And
right. Well, we've seen how they play with Walcott up top, and it's like they have to understand a new system because instead of a player that's gonna back down on the center backs and wait for layoffs, it's somebody who's spinning off their defender and looking to split him with a run. So that it looks like they're confused, they're not used to it. But I mean, at the same time, I think probably Walcott fits their system up top better than Giroud does.
right, and this is one thing that for the past couple of months I've had this opinion, and I know that there are mixed feelings with this with Arsenal fans, but if Arsenal want to win the league this year or in the next few years, then Arsene Wenger has got to go.
I agree.
They
I
they
agree.
need they need fresh ideas. They can't.
So
Everybody's used
for Arsenal.
opposing managers.
Good enough is not good enough at Arsenal. They're a team
Right.
that should have won a title in the last 10 years. Like just being completely honest, it's been so long, but I think they deserved it. They've had their chances. They haven't capitalized. They go on the run, and at Christmas everybody's like, "This is their year," and then there's a big collapse by the end of the season, and I really feel for Arsenal fans.
I do. I do too, and I know that a lot of them don't want him to go because he's been their manager for so long. But I don't see Arsene Wenger winning another title with Arsenal. I just don't see it because I remember, I don't know which game it was, but I remember seeing it like fan reaction on YouTube, and Joel Campbell had scored a good goal. He was the whole entire team. He was running, he was dribbling, he was their most energetic player, and Wenger took him off, and there was boos ringing around the stadium. And he's not, for one, he doesn't like the transfer market, obviously. Like, he signed Granit Xhaka, which is a great signing, and it looks like he's looking to sign a striker. But I think if you can get Laurent Blanc from PSG, or recently if PSG's not managing anybody at the moment, I think that'd be a great manager for them.
Yeah. Well, I feel like they could have done something in this transfer window, attracting some of the big managers that were on the market if they would have, say fired Wenger last summer or last year or whatever. I mean, last season or whatever. I don't think
Right.
he. It's like it's weird because it's somebody where like it's not like he needs to get sacked because he's getting them consistently in the Champions League, but they
Right,
haven't won
but
the
that's an
Champions League. They
expectation
haven't
at
made
Arsenal.
exactly, exactly. It's like it's like they don't make runs in the Champions League. They sometimes, they'll win the cup, but they don't. They can't win the league, or they haven't been winning the league. and they have a squad to at least be very close to doing it. And like, it's not a player, it's not a manager where you can be like, oh, having a terrible season, we can sack him. But it's also not somebody you want to be like, I want this guy to be our manager for the next 15 years and bring us all
Right.
kinds of money.
I think he had his time at Arsenal to prove himself that he can maybe challenge in Europe and get a
Right.
few more league titles than he did. Of course, he's the manager for the Invincibles, which is a great accomplishment, but it's not the
I mean, I
same
could have been the
Arsenal
manager
team.
for the Invincibles, to be
Yeah,
honest.
there's no Bergkamp, there's no Henri.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a different Arsenal. I think football's changing from when he was a good manager.
Yeah.
He's used to old classic football where it's not where you just buy your team. Like everybody's saying, "Oh, United's buying the title, City's buying the title." That's what football's become. You can't win the title not getting a couple of new
It's
players
we all
year
know
in
it's
year out.
ridiculous, but we all know it's true. Like that's just
Yeah,
how football is these days.
us complaining isn't going to change
Yeah,
anything. It's
exactly,
just
exactly. Well, okay. Well, on a completely different note, besides Arsenal and that, we there's something needs to be done about ticket prices and kit prices and merchandise prices because it's all ridiculous. It costs $5, £5 to make a kit, and then they're selling it for £90. Like, come on.
yeah.
And
I think that
tickets for I think like Real Sociedad or somebody like that, some Spanish team. It's like starting at £20 for it's a friendly, and it's a friendly. Like, come on, like do something to your fans. This is Everton, the People's Club, and and they can't even get like decent prices. So I can't imagine what it's like for Manchester United and Manchester City.
right. I definitely think that jersey prices are just ridiculous. Like I would want to get a jersey each season, but that's like here to get a decent jersey is like $100, and that's ridiculous.
Right,
Like it's no
right.
different than a regular shirt. It's just a different
And
material and
and
has a
and
number and a name on the back.
and they have no problem with at the end of the season selling them for what £20, but no, not during the season where people actually want them. You know.
Right. And
So
then
back
real
on
quick before we move
yeah.
on from the jersey prices, I just wanted to add that the top three shirt sellers last year were Ronaldo, Messi, and Martial in the world. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, on the key players for Arsenal, I think their number one key player, I think it's obvious, it's Mesut Ozil.
Absolutely, not even close to anybody else.
He's, if not the best playmaker in the Premier League. He just sets up passes so nicely. He's a fan favorite by far. I think that he's been linked left and right. Well, not that much. He's been linked to a team here and there, but I don't think he's going to leave in the next 2 years. Maybe I think that they need to. We don't know when we'll see another playmaker like Mesut Ozil come
Exactly,
along,
exactly.
so Arsenal need to take advantage of the fact that they have one of the best midfielders in the world in
And
their squad
what
and
Mesut
build
Ozil
a
has,
team. Huh?
what Mesut Ozil has is like when he played against Everton, it was like it was like he would get the ball within 30 yards, and you're like, oh my gosh, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna? What's he gonna do with this pass? What's he gonna do? And oh, sure enough, one of these times he just gets it like with all kind of pressure on him, or pressure on him, and he just floats it in, perfect curl, perfect place. He puts it on a dime for Giroud, and he can just glance it in, and it's just ridiculous. Like you don't. He's a player that you just scared. It's like having. Okay, like honestly, it reminds me of when the United States played against Messi, and I was in the stadium. When Messi with the ball, everybody would be on the edge of their seats going, "Oh," expecting him to do something. And sure enough, he would do something almost every play, and that's the way Ozil plays when he has the ball. Sometimes he goes invisible in matches, but when he's on his game, he's really on his game, and it's ridiculous. And he's the best player in the
Right.
Premier League when he's on his game.
Oh yeah, and that's one thing that Arsenal fans are upset about with Giroud is that he's just not fast enough and he's not good enough and he doesn't finish many of Mesut Ozil's chances. And I
Hmm.
think it's nice for Arsenal fans to think about having Lacazette, Higuain, or Icardi up front. Like that's a dream team for Arsenal. I think that they could definitely push for the title if they had
Yeah,
someone like Icardi, someone
imagine
like
imagine
Higuain.
a counterattack where I don't know, Czech throws the ball and Ozil has it, and then he runs, and then he can just chip it over to I don't know Lacazette, and he's gone. There's nobody can catch him. Rather than
Right.
having to slow it all down with a hold up play or something.
So for my second key player, I put down Laurent Koscielny. He's, if not, like I said about Ozil, if he's not the best, then he's one of the best in the Premier League. He's not slow by any means. He's strong. He can defend. He's great in the air. He's one of Arsenal's key players. He's the key player in the defense, and I think if you get him a defensive partner, like Arsenal have been linked to Manolas from Roma, though the price tag of £35 million is a bit steep, but I think that if Wenger is willing to pay that and Manolas goes to Arsenal, then Koscielny and Manolas will be one of the best center back partnerships in the league. They're both fast, they're both great in the air, and I think
Right,
it's
and then
it
that along with the rise of Bellerin and Monreal, like that could be a really deadly defense back there.
it could, and especially with Czech shows no signs of slowing down in the next year. He was great last year, got himself the
Yes,
Golden
yeah.
Boot.
And then he's also he's a goalkeeper. He's gonna be playing for a while at his top level up until probably he's 35. So
Right.
I don't know.
And then my last key player is someone that you just mentioned, and it's Hector Bellerin. We talked about him a little bit in the transfer episode. And I'm going to go on for the next few years, not just talking about this season. I think that if Arsenal want to be one of the best teams in the world and win Premier League titles and challenge in Europe, then Hector Bellerin's a player you can't let him go. He's what, 21 years old and was the best right back in the league
Yeah. Yep.
last year. He is unbelievably fast. He's good at defending. He's a player that I there are a small handful of teams that he wouldn't get into the starting 11. And that's probably Juventus because they have Dani Alves, maybe Madrid because they have Carvajal, probably Bayern because they have Lam can play there. But besides that, I can't think of like any
Exactly.
huge team that he wouldn't be the starting right back for.
Exactly.
And I think he could very well go to Barcelona or Manchester City in the sometime in the future.
He would fit
I can
perfect.
I could honestly I would put money on him being a Barcelona player in the next few years
He's just
because he
like Jordi Alba, except he's right
right.
side.
Can you imagine that defense? And that would
Exactly.
be and that'd be two new young defenders for Barcelona in Umtiti and Bellerin.
Right.
They're both early 20s.
Obviously, this isn't happening at all, but we're just saying hypothetical. He's a great player. He's an amazing player, and Arsenal are lucky to have him.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
my favorite Arsenal player.
Okay, so also, besides key players that are going to help them win the title, what could Arsenal do to themselves that could hurt them in the long run and make them not win the title? What do you think?
Um, I think it's just Arsenal have gotten themselves a verb in the dictionary, and I think what they could do to not win the title is just pull an Arsenal, and in that I mean do what they do seems to be every year. By Christmas, people are like, and you were saying this earlier. By Christmas, fans are like, "Wow, we're having a great season. Strikers are finishing chances. Our defense is playing well. Our midfield is playing well." And then they just drop in form
Yeah,
and just they're not the same Arsenal for the second half of the season as they were for the first half of the season. And I think that could obviously destroy any team, but I think that and maybe that's a Wenger factor. If they get a new manager, I think they could very well win the title with a new manager. But this year I couldn't see that happening with Wenger.
right. Me either. Well, okay, here was my thing. Um, if this is the other pull in Arsenal. There's two pull in Arsenals. If they pull in Arsenal and have four of their starters, injured, they're not going to win the title. Their team's always injured. They have like the most the most injury minutes missed in like all of Europe, if I remember correctly, or if I'm not mistaken. You know, like or games missed or whatever it was.
Right.
And they have players injured all the time. They need to get a new physio or something because like it's wild. Maybe they need to fix their training pitch. Maybe it's too hard or something. But it's players injured, and specifically Alexis Sanchez. If Sanchez is on his game, he's one of the best players in the league again, and and if he's not healthy, then they're missing out on their best, their most exciting player, their player that's gonna run at defenses and score shots from 30 and stuff like that. So they need him injured. Yeah, they need him. Everybody else needs him injured. I want him. Not I don't want him injured, but it'd be nice to play him if he's already injured. But everybody else is hoping he's not playing, and everybody else is hoping he's not on the squad. But Arsenal need him in that lineup if they want to win that title.
Right. And real quick, I won't talk any more about this. I'll just say that I just saw this. Um, an agent on Twitter just said, "We understand Stoke City are in talks with Fenerbahce over the transfer of striker Robin van Persie."
Oh wow.
Don't want to go too far about that because this isn't a Stoke episode. But so, who do you think are going to be, if you had to choose one player from Arsenal, who's going to have just like a totally unexpected season, as in bad? Like, what player is just not going to perform for Arsenal this year?
Okay, besides the one I'm gonna pick, one that's gonna that disappoints everybody consistently, or at least from the outside view, I don't know about Arsenal fans, would definitely be Jack Wilshere.
Hmm.
He's just he's Wilshere. Um,
Yeah,
but in terms of a disappointing season, um, I'm actually not really sure. Let's go. I have no idea.
I
I
think
have
I'm
no
just
idea.
gonna go Jack Wilshere because he's just. I know he gets injured. That probably maybe,
Is his whole
and I think
downfall? Yeah,
again, like I said, bring in a better manager to like
yeah.
push him and get him going, and he can become a great midfielder for Arsenal in the future.
Um, if I had to just say one out on a limb, let's just go and say Aaron Ramsey. I think his haircut's gonna mess with him, and it'll catch up to him. So,
All right. So we don't have to predict the amount of goals, but who do you think are going to be the top three scorers for Arsenal this season?
um, let's go ahead and say Alexis Sanchez, and then they don't. I feel like Giroud's gonna be out, but I'm gonna say if he's in the lineup, Olivier Giroud. He's gonna score goals. He's gonna score goals
Mhm.
sometimes. He's a striker. He's a decent striker. And third, uh, like I could not tell you who else is like a goal scorer on Arsenal.
And
Like,
that's a
you know what I mean?
problem.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Need to bring so many. Let's go ahead and say Lacazette is their third scorer. Okay.
All right. I'd say you just can't not have Giroud. He just seems to be like that one itch that doesn't go away.
Yeah,
I'd say Giroud, Sanchez, and Icardi. I don't think Lacazette's
there
on.
you go. There you go.
But
Yeah, that works.
last, before we project their final finish, player of the season.
Mesut Ozil again.
Easily Mesut Ozil. Now, last, where do you think that they'll finish and why?
Um, third because they haven't done anything. Um, same team, same manager. Um, I mean, there's better squads. So,
Mhm.
I mean, maybe they can make a run. They're capable of making a run, but I don't see it in them as of now. Maybe they sign a striker, and I'm like, okay, they have a chance of winning the title. But right now, for me, they do not. They aren't in immediate title contention.
Right. For me right now, I'm going to say that they're going to finish, and this isn't an Arsenal joke. I genuinely think they're going to finish fourth. It's not related to the whole Arsenal finishing fourth joke that's everywhere. I actually just think that they'll finish fourth. I think that Chelsea, Chelsea, City, and United will finish above them in the top
Yeah,
three in
not a
no
bad shout.
specific order.
Not a bad shout. Um, yeah.
So that's all we have for the Arsenal episode. We're going to be doing this for a ton of teams in the Premier League. City, United, Everton, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, just a bunch of teams. And it doesn't even need to be teams like what does blah 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 need to do to win the title. For Everton, we're going to do what do Everton need to do to get European football, or Liverpool, what do Liverpool need to do to stay in the Premier League and not get relegated.
Yeah, definitely. Um, all right, guys, thanks for listening. That's been the first episode. Make sure to stay tuned for our Premier League update and our Everton and United update. Those will be up later today as well, probably around the same time as this video. And just thanks for listening. Have a good day.